You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
Well, now we've got. I've got Doug Hawkins is on the line because it's our weekly podcast, and Doug is a very, very important part of the weekly podcast because he has a cap made with Doug Hawkins' number 7 and mine on it from michaelchristianmenswear.com. Absolutely signature completed caps that Mike Christian is letting go for the extraordinary. I won't even mention the price. It's so cheap, $69, and it's extraordinary. And he can't keep up with the slave labour that's gone into making them. Along with Nike and everyone else's Adidas and all the ones that make them from the same factory. So it's going beautifully. So Doug, it's welcome to You Cannot Be Serious. Now, what's been happening? I'll tell you what's been
happening. Go
ahead.
No. You go, and then you go first.
Well, you did. With the last time you were on, you mentioned that a certain footballer was about to be catapulted into the AFL Hall of Fame, and you were sort of half right. We wondered about the timing of it and thought it was strange that he'd only been out of the game 5 years and had leapfrogged over many, many players who've waited for 2 decades to get in. But you were half right. He is in the Hall of Fame, but it's the Geelong Hall of Fame he's in. And his name, of course, is Travis Varco. And we all said a very, very good footballer, but were wondering why he'd leapt into the AFL Hall of Fame, but it was into the Geelong. So you're half right, Doug, or you are half wrong.
Sam, I jumped the gun a bit on it. And you're right. A couple of weeks ago, I did say that he was in the Hall of Fame, AFL Hall of Fame. I got that part wrong.
And whether it had been him or any other footballer, we were saying that was extraordinary because he'd only been out of the game 5 years. Didn't matter who he played for, where he came from, what his race was. It would be extraordinary, but quite legitimately he's in the Geelong Hall of Fame because you don't have to wait that long.
No, so anyway, Sam, I actually got that wrong.
No,
half wrong.
It was an interesting talking point because anyone who just is out of the game 5 years shouldn't be in the AFL Hall of Fame. There's plenty before people who have been out of the game 5 years, but it wasn't a slight on Mr. Varco. It was a point of procedure.
No, you're right, Sam. So anyway, we can move on, and he's in the Geelong Hall of Fame. We can move on, and
well done.
Are you back in Victoria, Sam? Where are you?
No, I'm up in.
You and Sue?
Yes, she's listening to this.
Hey, Dougie.
Yeah. Hello, Sue. How are you, Dale?
Not too bad, thanks.
You ready to jump off that boat yet? Sam, has he driven you to that?
Driven her to drink. It's the only thing she's indebted to me for. I've made her start drinking. So I tell you who we're going to speak to just as a matter of interest, and I want to ask you, did you play against him? I've got a feeling you did. We're going to speak to Mark Jackson later on. We're going to interview, just have a chat to him on the podcast. Did you ever play against Mark Jackson? You would have, because he started in 1981.
No, I did, Sam, and everyone remembers Jacko as the character, the battery. What was the battery he did again?
Energizer.
Energizer battery, and he had a song saying, "What was it? I'm an individual. You can't." Mate, he was an outstanding
promoter,
performer outside his football, Sam. But let me just tell you something, and you know this, but a lot of people who listen to us don't know this. He actually could play footy. He was actually very, very good. He would have probably averaged 3 or 4 goals over his career.
3.6 goals a game. He averaged in the 82 games he played. He kicked 308 goals at an average of 3.6, which is not bad when you consider he played for sides that weren't travelling that well.
No, you're right, Sam. I think he won the goal kicking out of St Kilda there. And
he won the goal kicking in each of the clubs he played for.
So St Kilda, Geelong.
And Melbourne.
And Melbourne. No, he was a very good player, Sam. And let me tell you, his goal kicking was absolutely sensational because what he would do, he would kick off 4 steps. He didn't worry about this 25-metre running, which they do these days. where blokes like him, and obviously we go to another ilk, of course, Lockett and Dunstall and the Gary Ablett Senior, who they kicked off 4 or 5 steps. They don't need to have this 25-metre run-up. But Jacko was a great kick for goal. He was a great entertainer, Sam. He was one of the first ones, Sam, to go around and play footy for local clubs. I remember him going into Queensland. It might have been Kendron or Windsor Simmermore or whatever they're called. Anyway,
what's that, Doug?
It came out that it was called Windsor Seminole or anyway. Windsor
Seminole.
That's the one. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. Is that what you're saying? I've never heard of it.
But I might have made that up. So anyway, he did play with Kendron. I remember that, and I remember that the side was out in the ground. Sam, this is fair dinkum. They were warming up. Jacko's come out in his own with his jumper over his shoulder. Over his shoulder, he went to the goal square, started doing a couple little stretches, and then, correct me if I'm wrong here, he climbed the goalpost. He started climbing.
He did too. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So outside of the great character that he was, and we've done shows, Sam, with Mark on the speaking circuit. He's a very, very good speaker. He's a good entertainer, and a lot of people, as I said at the start of our conversation on Jacko, he was a very, very good player. Make no mistake about it, and he's a bit different. What did he do at St Kilda, Sam? Did he light a cigarette into Lindsay Fox's pocket or something like that?
Apparently, and apparently he did that. We might ask him those things. He mightn't want to. We'll ask him that, and he's meant to have put a brick under the accelerator of the late Trevor Barker's car. I don't know if they might be apocryphal. Those things, Doug. They might be folklore.
They might be what, Sam? They might be what?
Apocryphal. Or you could say a pocketful. That'll do. Yeah.
Are we allowed to move now from Jacko?
Please.
Dan Andrews, ex-premier here. When you've been away, Sam, I don't know if you talked about it. He got a order of Australia. Is that correct?
An AC. He got an AC. That's an order. An Australian. An AC.
There was 4 or 5 people, Sam, got it in Australia. On what grounds would you be able to give the ex-premier on what occurred during the COVID? What grounds with the lockdowns, that we most locked down place in Australia? We had people couldn't travel 5Ks. The bungled quarantine security coming from New South Wales, which actually caused, or a part of
800 deaths.
800 people. Yeah. What grounds, what stupidity? Sam, you know what I'm like. I'm pretty easygoing sort of bloke, but this just is bullshit. This just really got me, And then of course now he had that car accident with the young boy down there in Seaford or somewhere like that, or Frankston somewhere. And Sam, I don't know, he was driving or his wife was driving. This kid nearly died. He never got breathalyzed by the police. Me and you would have got breathalyzed by the police. And then he drove a car which was unroadworthy. He was smashed windscreen, him or his wife. He drove the kids back to the house because they were upset. And then now, Sam, to top it off, he refuses now to hand over his phone to show who he had rung or had not rung after the accident occurred. So if you've got nothing to hide, Sam, why not hand your phone over? Mate, it's just bullshit, total bullshit.
So, Doug, we're allegedly all those things happened, but what is not alleged is that he's engaged a high-profile lawyer to fight the order for him to hand over his mobile phone records, which would give some light and some clarity as to what was going on the day that either he or his wife, we're not sure, ran into the young lad who was in a pretty serious way. I'm not sure why you would fight to have your phone records not sequestered or not handed over if you had nothing to hide. That's just off the top of my head. Maybe there's a very valid reason why there might be state secrets on the phone or classified information. I don't know, but it would seem odd that if you got nothing to hide, you wouldn't worry about your phone records being exposed.
And what did you make of the Order of Australia, Sam? Whatever that was that we started on.
I said it was an AC. I said it was an AC. AC is an Australian companion. Is it a companion?
Companion of the Order, it is.
Companion of the Order, and they put the initials round the other way. An AC. That's companion of Australia. That's like getting a knighthood. And I said the AC stands for absolute crap. That he would get that, and my bigger point was that the fact that his government announced with great pomp and ceremony that they were going to have the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne and farmed out all the different sports to the outlying country regions, and this was just before an election, and people thought, oh well, there'll be employment and new infrastructure built for the Commonwealth Games. Then they won the election, and about a minute after they won it, they cancelled the games. I thought that was dishonest electioneering. That was one of the main reasons why you would. And I reckon I could run the country if I borrowed nearly $200 billion. I reckon I could run the state probably a fraction better if I was given that much money, because that's nearly, not quite, but that's nearly the debt of the state, which is more debt than 3 of the other states combined.
Well, you got to remember, Sam, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me on this. He's a very, very shrewd politician.
Very good politician.
Does that make sense? He's
yes.
Very smart. Exactly right. He knew when to come into the regional areas to give these Commonwealth Games and then building new structures and pools and grandstands and stuff like that. Let's vote for Dan. He's on the ball. And then he just pulls a pin. And what did it cost us? 600, wasn't it, Mil? What did we end up to pay that to taxpayers to pay for that bill?
I think it was more than that. I think
it was more, was it?
I think we're just making it up, Doug. It cost an absolute shitload.
Now, Sam, we got to move on.
Yes.
I want to touch on the umpiring, and you don't follow the footy much, but these days, but the umpire at the moment is in disarray. Stephen McBurney, who used to be an umpire, he's the umpire's advisor. And you may not have heard this, Sam, but the CFMEU, which I'm a part of, John Sector.
Yes,
has called for his sacking because he was the boss of the Australian Building Construction Commission, who were a bit of a watchdog, and they actually fined the CFMEU millions and millions of dollars. So Sector's come out and said to the AFL, which is run by, is it Andrew Dillon? Is he the new bloke?
Yes, there? Andrew Dillon took over from the hapless Gil McLachlan,
who's now the new Tabcorp chief executive. Now, did you know that, Sam?
No, I didn't.
Gil McLachlan?
Yeah, how much interest would I have in that?
Well, he's the new chief of the Tabcorp. So he's gone from the AFL into Tabcorp as the chief executive. I thought you'd be interested in that, Sam, with Gillen.
Yeah. $600 million it cost us to have the games cancelled. Sue has just looked that up for me. Yep.
$600 million.
Go on. Yep.
So anyway, Sector's come out and said, Johnny Sector said, McBurney, if you guys, the AFL, Andrew Dillon, don't sack this bloke because of what he did to the CFME for one and how he's now running the umpiring, we're going to make a slow go on your jobs with the AFL. So John Sector's now just come out there, Sam, and had a bit of a big crack at it. And,
so Steve McBurney is an ex-umpire, or is he currently umpiring?
Ex-umpire. So
and he's running the umpires umpires board or whatever.
He is. He's the head of umpiring, Sam. He makes the decisions, and he was the guy who actually was the watchdog or the informer, not informer, but he actually worked for that ABCC, who are no longer together no more. They're disformed, and he sued the
disbanded,
disbanded, and they sued him for millions and millions of dollars, Sam.
So would you say...
And Sector's come out and said, get out and get rid of him, or we're going to go slow on some of your jobs. Yeah.
So that's so Johnny Sector, who we Scepter, what's his name? Not Sector, Scepter. No, we've interviewed him. He came in and was interviewed here because he's retiring from the. We had a very good chat to John, and so do you think that's sort of I was going to say blackmailing, but that's sort of holding a gun at the AFL's head. Do you think they are related incidents? Can you ask for Stephen McBurney to get sacked, or else we won't build your infrastructure for you?
I think that Johnny Sector, I get that name right, Sam.
Setka, Setka. Sue has also looked that up for us. She's here, Doug. She said hello, and you can
hello, Sue.
She'll say hello again.
I'm busy Googling.
Yeah.
Trying to relate to some of the words I put together, Sam.
We used to get Ivan.
I'm trying to say, and but let me just say this: he's got a long memory, Johnny, and now that this bloke is running the head of umpire, and it's in disarray. Don't worry, but this is the worst umpiring, Sam, I've seen for 30 to 40 years. It's absolutely, it's just a joke. It put people off watching football, this umpiring.
Yeah, it's that old saying, Doug, never blame the people who work for you, blame the people who employ you.
That's it. So
that's it?
Sam, that's happened, and we had a big meeting yesterday, and we got an increase of, I don't know, 20% over the next 4 years.
21%.
The tradies have got a 21% increase.
21%. You voted on it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And I'm going to go, Sam. So I'm going to go from being $65 an hour to $75. That's not bad being a lollipop operator, is it?
No, it's good, Doug. And all the tradies...
Did you have to go to lollipop school?
Oh, I did go to a lollipop school. It started on the crossing there in front of the Bacchus Marsh Primary School.
Who sang Lollipop? Who sang Lollipop?
I tell you who sang that. Melanie sang that.
Did she? No, Sue. I got Sue on the brain. Sue.
Sue who?
Not Sue who. No, Sue who. She was Sue who. Who to you too, sweetheart?
It wasn't Melanie, Sam. Was it Melanie?
I didn't think it was Melanie.
Oh, no, she sang Brand New Key. She sang a brand new key.
Sue.
I've got a brand new.
Yeah, no, I got a brand new pair of roller skates.
Okay, that's it. That's Sue. That was Melanie. That's Melanie.
Sue. Geez, I can't think of that. So I've got Sue Stanley on the brain.
Sue's going to look it up. Sue Stanley's going to look it up.
Sue. She sang a lot. Oh no, she didn't sing Lollipop. Maybe.
So Sam, the footy tonight. I've got the Hall of Fame tonight.
Oh, have you? You're going, Sam, yeah. Travis Varco won't be there, will he?
No, he's at the Geelong one.
Oh,
Sam.
yeah.
So I'm interested to, and our mate and your mate and our mate will be inducted in as a legend.
Who? Oh, Jason.
The great Piggy. Yeah,
the
Chief.
Great Piggy. Chief, Uganda's the great silverback from Uganda. He'll be inducted. I wonder if they'll have bananas for him. Hope he doesn't get up and pick his ring while he's up there.
That's the great Chief. The great Chief.
He's a great man.
He'll be inducted as a legend, Piggy. And what a great player, Sam. And I think we can just turn to his career.
And remember when he had that shock of black hair, he'd come out. Now he's as bald as a badger. He hadn't he had nothing on there. I think he's wearing a beard these days to smother the fact that he's bald. But he's a very good man, and, very intelligent man.
He was a great player, and Sam. And yeah, really was, Sam. He was an actually defensive full forward. He was happy to tackle, chase, harass. Not many forwards would do that.
No.
But, Jason Dunstall did that, and I think that separates him a little bit from some of the players of the ilk that was in his and our time. His defensive stuff, Dunstall was super. And tonight I'm going. I haven't been to a few years, Sam. I haven't been there for a little while. So I'm making an appearance.
And who else is? Who else? Do we know who else? Do we know who else?
No, we don't. But
make another outrageous prediction, please, Doug.
I would Sam, I'd be surprised if Jeff Rains is not in. I think I've called for him for a while. Calvin Templeton is the other one from the Bulldogs that I played with. And the other one I mentioned was Tony McGuinness, but I don't think Tony McGuinness will be in it.
Don't you?
But no, I don't think he will, Sam. But his record over his time with Footscray and Adelaide, and won a Magarey at 17 at Cornell, played 350 games, all Australian, won best and fairest in all clubs. He may. He didn't say nothing to me the other day, but who knows? He may have been told to keep it silent. But Sam, outside of, I think Jeff Rains. Do you rate him? Don't you?
Absolutely, Jeff Rains. Doug, I don't want to jump. Just before I forget, my girl Lollipop was changed. It was sung by Jeez, where is it? It was sung by, hang on a minute, Millie Small in 1964.
Oh,
and then,
yeah, Millie. Yeah, Millie.
Little Millie. And then it was changed to My Boy Lollipop. I think the Cadillacs, and bugger if I know, but someone changed it to My Boy Lollipop because if you have a girl singing it, you have to you change it if it's a boy singing it, I don't know. But anyhow.
They've changed the sound to I Person Lollipop.
Yeah, well, good work, Doug.
I Person Lollipop. Well, they have.
Just having said that, Doug, I just because things remind you of things to say. I noticed that. Do you ever heard of a person called Leah Thomas? She is a trans swimmer. She has.
I did see that. Yeah,
she has been banned from swimming in the women's Olympic team, primarily because she's a bloke. In a girls' team, Sam. Yes, she is a trans swimmer. She was a bloke and still is, obviously, but now pretending she's a woman. And she tried to get into the Olympic women's swimming team, and they banned her because they said, mate, while you've got a dick in your bathers, you can't swim as a woman. Oh, well, I'm making... that's what I'm saying.
That's true.
I don't think they used that exact language, but they said, no, you can't. You're making a mockery of it, Dal, or whoever you're calling yourself.
Well, that's fair enough too, Sam. Can I, Sam, give two shout-outs?
Please.
One is to a mate of ours, Sam, and I think he's a mate of yours. We have friends and we have acquaintances, we have mates. The late John Blackman from Hey Hey passed away, Sam, in your time and Sue's time away. What a great man, Dickie Nee and all that sort of stuff with Darryl Summers and the great Russell Gilbert, a great mate of ours, passed away, Sam. So cry out to the family of John Blackman, Sam.
That is Cecile and Tiffany.
Was it? Yes. And you knew that, Sam? You knew Blackers pretty good, Sam?
Yes, and the funeral, which I unfortunately won't be able to attend, obviously, that is on Friday. Sue Stanley, OAM, just says Sue's taken over from Ivan. Ivan used to go through all this, but I don't know where Ivan is. Ivan, I don't think, likes chatting solo on the phone to us. He likes to be in a group chat.
So Sam, with Blackers, I had the 1 year at Fitzroy. John Blackman was a mad Fitzroy supporter.
He was.
And through Russell Gilbert, my great mate from Braybrook, I got a number 3 jumper, which I wore in my one and only year at Fitzroy 95, and I presented it to John Blackman. I wrote down to Blackers, stick with the Fitzroy. And a year later, they obviously merged or got a takeover against the Brisbane Bears. But a great man and a great Fitzroy man as well. And Sam, on a probably more positive note, I actually saw this bloke on TV, and I've gone to see him on many occasions, and you would be a fan of his as well. Johnny Farnham.
Yep.
I saw him on TV, Sam. Yeah.
He's had these after his face was reconstructed. His son, I think, put out a first picture of him, John Farnham, as he's called now. And so that's great to see. And he had a very similar procedure done like the late John Blackman.
Yeah,
he had his face and jaw reconstructed.
So
I wonder if...
Last night, Sam. Yeah, last night on TV. And... I've been a fair few of his concerts, and he's an absolutely outstanding performer.
Yes,
Johnny Farnham. I don't know if he'll come back, Sam. Will he be able to make it back or not? No,
well, John Blackman wasn't able to speak that well, although we interviewed him on You Cannot Be Serious. We had a terrific chat to him, so I'm not sure if John's Farnham is able to sing or even speak properly. That remains to be seen. What was John's first hit, Doug?
I got a feeling it might have been Sadie the Cleaning Lady.
That's what I reckon it was, Doug. Well done.
Raindrops, not Raindrops, Sam. What was that song?
Raindrops keep falling on my head. Yeah, that was...
did he sing that?
Yeah, he did. My word, he did.
I reckon Sadie the Cleaning Lady was his first hit.
Yes, I'm going with that too. Sue is feverishly looking this up again. She can speak if she wishes. She's not... We haven't got her on mute. She's busy, yeah. Now, I wonder if they'll drape that number 3 Fitzroy jumper over his coffin, or will they have forgotten that he's a great Fitzroy stalwart?
It'll be in a frame, Sam. Be heavily framed, and there'll be photos of me around it. Because it's a collector's item. I know. 21. I made the. I was emergency with the team of the century.
It's just with the one season you played there.
21 games. I was emergency of the team of the century.
Wow, that's extraordinary.
And Sam, another cry out to one of our mates, Bernie Quinlan, had a bloody heart attack, Sam.
Did he?
Bernie had a heart attack about 2-3 weeks ago, and I spoke to him, Sam, on the phone after, obviously, his operation. He had a couple of stents put into his heart, and he said, Dougie, I was sitting at home on my own, and I just had this, got a bit hot in the head and started to sweat a little bit and had a little bit of a pain across the chest. So he said, I'm going to take a Panadol and go to bed. So he went to bed, eh?
What was he doing at home that made him hot and sweaty, Doug?
Well, he was cooking a chicken. He said he was cooking a chicken on his own.
Was he? Gosh,
so he said, Hawk, I was cooking a chicken. I was getting a bit hot.
Yeah, basting it, was he?
He rang an ambulance.
Was he basting it? He wasn't basting himself, was he? But, anyhow, we wish him well.
We shouldn't be laughing about this. This could have been a serious situation. And he said if I was 5 minutes any longer from the hospital, Frankston Hospital, he said, Hawk, we may not be having this conversation. And don't forget, Sam, he was my coach at Fitzroy in my last year. So, I love Bernie.
Yeah, he's a super boot. I wonder if Travis Varco will find it strange that you got into the Fitzroy team of the century after playing one fucking season with them. He might say, you're worried about me getting into the AFL Hall of Fame, which he didn't, after 5 years. I reckon he's probably trumped you there. Oh, dear me. Oh, shit.
Are we still on air, Sam? Yeah, we're still there. We're still there.
Now,
anyway,
now,
what else is going on?
I'll tell you, you might be interested in this, Doug, you might not. But the new boss of Qantas, his name is John Mullen. Mullen. He's had a crack at Alan Joyce, the Mr. Joyce, Alan Joyce, and Mr. Joyce is over in Ireland with his husband, Mr. Joyce, Mr. and Mr. Joyce.
Who's he with?
His husband. He's married to his husband. The two of them.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, Mr. and Mr. Joyce, and Mr. John Mullen. Mr. John, who's taken over Qantas, said it was ill considered to daub all the Qantas planes with the no vote or yes vote. They were advertising that this plebiscite was going on in the national community, and Qantas had hijacked their planes and hijacked our planes and put yes on it, telling us what to vote for. Had no right to do that, and it was trying to just crawl up the Prime Minister. Anthony Albanese, crawl up his bot, his coit, just by patronising him. And so we saw off Alan, and Alan scampered over back to Ireland with his husband and is now in residence there with the 800 million, the very large payout he got for disfiguring our airlines. The Qantas planes.
Amazing salmon. Amazing salmon. Alan Joyce. That name is familiar to me. He's my last coach, Sam, at Footscray.
Did I say Alan? I did say Alan. His name's not Alan Joyce. It is Alan Joyce.
Yes, it is.
So Alan Joyce and Alan Joyce. There's two Alan Joyces, isn't there?
Yeah, Alan Joyce. He coached Hawthorn to a flag when Alan Joyce was crook.
That's correct. And then there's Alan Joyce. Was it Alan Joyce, the head of Qantas? Was it Alan?
Of course it was. Yeah, of course it was. It was Alan. The first name was Alan.
Never even thought of that. That's right, little bloke.
You said he married a bloke, you said.
Yeah, he's married his husband. Yep, they got betrothed. Okay. Yeah, no. Doug, this is happening these days. I
didn't know that. No,
it can happen. I'm thinking of... So Doug... So speaking of gender and getting into some sort of what did you think about Lachie Neale? He gave the reporter
kissed her.
Abby, what's her name?
Abby Holmes.
Abby Holmes. After a game that the Brisbane Lions were playing, he gave her a peck on the cheek, and apparently, I'm told, all hell's broken loose. What did you think of that, Doug?
It was mayhem, Sam, in Melbourne. It was just absolutely distraught. It was
by the woke
headline. It exactly. It was on the leading. I woke up to it. And I said to Hundale's sweetheart, right? I said, can you believe this girl, Abby Holmes, and they're obviously friends from outside of football, and I'm not saying there's nothing there connected, but it was a simple little peck on the side of it, totally different to that soccer bloke, Sam, who lost his job, who kissed that soccer girl, and he got sacked.
He just for kissing her. He didn't touch her up or anything, did he?
No, he was on the stage. You remember that one, Sam, when the soccer
I'm not talking about Lockie Holmes. I'm talking about Lockie Holmes. Lockie, Jesus, Lockie Neal. Yeah.
So I jumped the gun a little bit, but Lockie Neal, Sam, it was just everyone was just in disarray about it. I thought, what a joke! He's just give a little friendly peck, and that was it.
And he knew her. He's known her, so she's a long-time friend. What happens if well, who does the boundary riding these days? Who does the interviews? Like does Cameron Mooney?
Phillips, another girl.
No, Cameron Mooney. Does he do them, or who goes sometimes out on?
Mooney.
What happens if he'd given him a kiss? Would that have been all right? Or would there have been that much chat about it if he'd kissed a bloke?
Well, there would have been something. I'm there, Sam. Yes, someone would have said something about it, but that.
Well, I've seen one of the male reporters give him a handshake and then tap him on the butt, to say, well done, like.
Good.
The players.
Well, no, to the player. The reporter has done it like they give him a handshake.
As they walk, give him a smack on the bum.
It's on the shoulders of the butt,
that's man to man, Doug. I mean, it's
man to man's fair enough.
Sue's right. No, Sue's right that they do that, and. But you're right, Sam, that was just
he'll have to be counselled, Doug. He'll have to go to counselling for a couple of weeks and be on probation because you can't have blokes kissing women that they've known most of their life just as a term of endearment. You can't have that because this is probably why Beck Judd. Now, you know who Beck Judd is, don't you?
She's the wife of the great Chris Judd, who won 2 Brownlow medals.
That's right. Well, she said here, I've written it down here, she says Melbourne is woke, broke and violent. And she says we're living in a city where that is woke, that is all that stuff. You can't kiss other people of the opposite sex just as a term of endearment. We're broke because we're nearly $200 billion in debt. And there's crime is rampant. Gangs of youths going around macheting people and hijacking cars and robbing people. And you experienced it on the train out to you said there were scallywags surrounded you. Yep. Scallywags.
No, correct, Sam. Yeah, correct, Sam. Villains and scallywags.
Yes.
But the one thing, Sam, they didn't know. They didn't have these machetes and tomahawks.
What did they have when they surrounded you on the train, Doug?
They had a mobile phone.
Oh, you could do damage with that. What do you mean? It's like taking tweezers at the airline. Taking tweezers. They pinch your tweezers when you get on a plane that goes through the scanner because you can do shit. Can you wreak some havoc with some pair of tweezers?
But Sam,
you could pluck the eyes of the person in front of you.
They had a bag and they could have had hidden
incendiaries
in the bag. That's correct. So anyway, the police here, Sam, have the power now to scan any villain or scallywag that they want to catch now. Mate, this is in disarray. What's her name? Jacinta Allen. She's our Premier now.
Premier, yep.
She's got to come out, and these 14-year-olds. One kid has had 38 bails or something and 380 offences. I mean, it's just, again, here I go. It's just bullshit. Mate, you've got to lock them up, mate. They know what they're doing. Okay, you can blame the parents and all that sort of stuff. These kids know what they're doing. These kids are a multi repeat offender.
They're recidivists.
What?
They're recidivists. They keep doing it.
Yeah, they keep offending. Yeah, that's right.
And this is what Beck is saying, that we're woke broke, and we just put up with it, just turn a blind eye to it, because you have all these well-meaning, greeny, liberal, pot-smoking fucking drongos who keep letting them off.
Yeah, no. But she needs a stance, Sam. She needs to make a stance, Cinderella. This is her job. This is what she needs to do now, and this is. You've got to pull them up because someone's going to get killed. They're going into grocery stores, IGA stores, and they're starting to get more physical because people now are starting to reject their robbery and trying to take stuff. So, mate, we're in disarray here, Sam, in Victoria. Yeah.
I was speaking to Sue Stanley because I often do that because she's on the trip with me, and she's listening to this, and I'm not mentioning names or the profession or the vocation that this person's in, but she said a friend of hers got kidnapped by some they were foreigners. Might have been Australians, but no, they weren't Australians, but they were foreigners. Got kidnapped and beaten severely because they were after the money that this person had, that they thought he had, and the police subsequently have arrested the perpetrators, but kidnapped the man and beat him savagely and gave him very serious injuries. So it's happening everywhere, isn't it?
And probably out in bail, Sam. And probably out in bail.
Well, no, I just said that to Sue Stanley, OAM. Yep. I said, don't tell me your friend has to suffer the fact that these people are out in bail. So we're just waiting to hear if that's the case, because there's a pretty serious home invasion and kidnapping.
Yeah,
now, I thought you might be interested in this, Doug, and this is well documented. There's a lass called Annie Knight. Have you heard of her, Annie Knight?
No, I haven't, Sam. No.
Well, she, by her own admission, has slept with 300 people, males, 300 people. When I say slept, I presume she means she fucked them. I don't know, but I think that's a generic term for sleeping with. And the dogs got excited when I mentioned rooting.
The dogs.
Yes, geez. As soon as I mentioned rooting, he started to bark. You've trained him to bark when someone mentions the word root or fuck. Well, Jesus, you better stand. You better stand with your back close to the wall, or the dog might mistake you for someone who's come on heat. Anyhow, Annie Knight's obviously come on heat 300 times. It's 300 people she conceded, and do you know what she's after? She's trying to break her own record. I know you think I'm making this up, but you can look it up. She wants to sleep, and use the word with the inverted air commas. She wants to sleep with 600 people next year, in a year, to break. Because do you know why she said? Because you'll love this, Doug, because she said she's sick of being judged just because she's sexually active. She said, people judge me as though I'm some sort of hooah or something because, how would you judge someone who wants to sleep with 600 men? Is that Hundals? Is that you with Hundals?
That's Hundal just walked in.
Yeah, as soon as we mentioned the dog, you got her excited and the dog. So, you better just keep her back just while we're talking about this.
No. So, that's amazing, Sam. And,
600 blokes.
600, that's not a bad, that's a high number.
That's almost 2 a day.
You can't knock 2 a day, surely, can she?
Well, she reckons she has. I hope she hasn't got a job because I'd like to see her underwear drawer. She'd have to change her smalls about 80 times a week. Christ, the laundry couldn't keep up with them.
But hang on, fair's fair. If it was a male, he would be known as a stud and as a legend, and it would be a badge of honour. And because she's a female, she'd probably be called a whatever.
A tramp.
Exactly. And now, she is a sex worker, and she's admitted to that, and she's on her OnlyFans. So what is the difference?
That's a very good point, and I was going to say that when Wilt the stilt. He reckons he's bowled over 3,000 or 7,000 in his career, and some other people, the big basketballers, and people say, "Oh, look at them, aren't they clever?" And yet this woman just beds down 600, and they say, "Oh, what a shocking thing to do! What a tramp!" That's the polite word, slut or anything like. And and she said she's sick of being typecast, and she's going to keep doing it. And let's say she might go for 1,000 the year after, Doug. She might
increase those numbers, Sam. And,
that's right.
What about your mate? What about your mate Joe Biden?
Yeah, Joey. Yep.
I'm changing the subject a bit. I'm jumping here, but he's doing a campaign. He's calling Trump a convicted criminal. What?
Well,
Joe.
He is a convicted criminal, and the very fact that he is, because they trumped up a charge with him paying off Stormy Daniels, because Stormy reckons Trump had sex with her and Trump denied it. But they all know, they said that was using campaign funds to pay her off. So it's a complete bogus charge, and the more they convict Trump and the more they charge him, the more popular he becomes. And Joey, who is, did you know he's clinically dead? Joe Biden is just a cadaver. He's a cadaver. He might have borrowed some of the Energizer batteries that Mark Jackson used to advertise. They got him stuck up his aort, and when they put the positive to negative, his legs start moving, and he his mouth. And they got a tape recorder. They've got a tape recorder secretly lodged in his throat, and someone presses a button, and when his legs start working, they play the tape recorder, and his mouth opens and shuts, and the sound comes out. So they've got him propped up. He has no fucking idea what he's doing, and he's the leader of the free world. And he is do you know what? If you are the President of the United States, you are by definition the commander-in-chief. He has the codes to the nuclear weapons that the Americans have, that the US had, and someone's only got to say, there was a conflict on the corner of 42nd Street and Park Avenue, and Joe thinks that's a war, and he's got his hand on the nuclear button to erase New York off the face of the earth, because they said someone has attacked America in New York in one of the shopping centres. No, he's mad.
He's doing a debate, Sam. He's doing a debate with Trump. Trump, he will destroy him.
Well,
he will kill him in a debate.
You want to be careful of, not you, but they want to be careful of just getting over their skis too early, because if Joe Biden absolutely can string a sentence together without stuttering or faltering, they'll say, what a debater he has. How good was that man? Because he's got a very low bar he starts from a very low base. So if he can actually speak a coherent sentence 2 or 3 times in a row, they'll say he's killed him. He's absolutely been brilliant. So that's where we are over in America, a cadaver running the free world. Now,
I just thought I'd bring it up, Sam. That was all.
I'm glad you did.
You're Trumpy, and I'm a Trumpy too. You're Trumpy, aren't you?
Well, if you're not Trumpy, you're mentally ill. If you're not Trump, if you are still backing that regime, you're not living in a real world. Now, could I just mention this as well, Doug? This is just. Who do you think? Give us, and you wouldn't know this necessarily. Who do you think? Which countries do you think are the healthiest in the world? Because, and it goes on.
Finland, Amsterdam.
You know this, do you, Doug?
No, I don't.
It goes on. How they assess it is that how the average age, not the average age, but how old are people living? The senior.
It's got to be Japan. It's got to be Japan for one.
Well, I know you're.
Am I right, Sam? Because I learned this in geography at Braybrook High School.
In what?
In geography.
How are you spelling that word, Doug? Is that geography? What did? Geography. That starts with a G. It's geography. It could start with a J, but it starts with a G. Could be.
You know?
Geography.
Did you know me and Russell Gilbert sat together in the same classroom?
Did you?
We had a history test, and the first question was, "What's the tallest building in the world?" Russell wrote down I don't know, and I wrote down either do I. I was copying his work. I thought you'd like that.
Yeah. So you learned. So in geography, you learnt that.
Geography. I learned that at Japan, because they eat a lot of good food and herbal stuff, Sam, and they'd have multi numbers of people in triple figures, 100 years of age. No doubt, Japan.
Well, the list I've
right
got.
Or wrong?
Well, you might be correct, Doug, but the list I have doesn't include Japan.
Done it? No. Okay. It might have been something else I watched last night.
But you were right with Finland. This is in order. I don't know how they quantify this. This is sixth. The sixth most healthiest country in the world is Singapore, then Finland, then Iceland. Then Monaco, I don't know why Monaco, apparently people go there to die and therefore they live a longer life. Hong Kong, and what do you reckon? You'll never get it, Doug. What do you reckon?
Not Australia.
No, certainly not Australia. We got more porkers over here. We got as many porkers here as there is in the United States per capita of the population. People are just
Fiji, Sam. Fiji.
People just unable to push the groceries away from the table when in Australia here. The healthiest country in the world, they say, is Italy. I know that shocked you.
Do you dispute that, Sam? Do you dispute that?
I haven't done a survey on how old people live in Italy, but they say I don't know why they say that, but Italy is the healthiest country in the world. America is the 45th healthiest country in the world, and I don't think they even rated Australia, but we wouldn't be worse than America, surely.
No, we shouldn't be. I mean, where are they, Sam? America, 45.
45th healthiest country in the world. And I'm staggered that they've got that high.
Who makes these assessments, Sam? What makes this assessment of them? Who does that?
Yeah, no, it's a very good.
You know who does it?
No, I do not know. But obesity, it's almost mandatory to be obese in America. You can't get a job unless you can't fit into a chair or an aeroplane or a car. It's just. Now, here's another thing, Doug. I find these. Do you ever immerse yourself in cold water for any period of time? Do you ever have a cold shower after you've had a hot shower?
Yeah, I do, Sam, a little bit. Yeah, I must admit I do, yeah.
How long would you stand?
Not all the time.
How long would you stand under
a minute at a time.
You'd stand for a minute under a cold shower.
Not cold, but it'd be fresh. It'd give me a bit of a kick.
Doug, when you have a shower and you have it, and you're washing your hair and everything, and your bits and pieces, do you turn the hot tap off and stand under the rows of the shower? Do you stand under the shower with it cold? No hot water. You saying you do that for a minute? No. I'd say you do it for 10 seconds at the most. That's what I'd say, because I do. I always have a cold shower, but never for too long. They say the greatest way to burn calories and to increase your and I'll tell you what it does. It makes your liver panic. Your liver panics and it emits, I don't know how they come up with this, but it burns calories. If you can immerse yourself in cold water, like really, really freezing water for 4 to 6 minutes a day, your life and health will improve immeasurably, they say. That is if you don't get hypothermia or have a heart attack when you jump into the cold water. That's what they say.
Ice baths, well, you have an ice bath. Then you get an ice bath.
That's right.
Ice bath.
That's to stop contusions and your legs bleeding after you got knocks on them and getting cork legs, all that. So, does the Hundale, does she get into a ice cold bath?
No. That's how we do now, Sam.
What do you do, Doug?
We have a very, very modern sauna.
A modern sauna.
And we have one of these. What do they call them? Rays things. What are they called?
Ultraviolet rays. Would that be?
That's the one. That's it. Thank you, Sue.
The red
we
ones.
Have an ultraviolet. Are they new or are they old? They're red ones. I tell you what. Tara does do.
Not a sauna that blows bubbles and you get in it. Not a hot. No, I see.
No, the sauna you sit in there.
Dry sauna.
It gets very hot. Yeah, it gets very hot, and you sweat all the toxics all the crap that you accumulate over the day or the evening, and it comes out of you. And it's a very good thing to do, Sam.
It's like a lymphatic drainage, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So do you agree with that, Sue? Because you're into that health stuff. Sue?
I had one as well, ultraviolet one.
Yeah.
In the back old days, we had the coal ones.
Must be a nice environment in the sauna with you and Hundal there, just all the crap and shit coming out of your body and just oozing onto the floor. It must be pleasant to be in there, Doug. So, after all the shit and the crap's come out of your body, do you step back out of the sauna into a shower or pool or something?
Yeah, we jump into the spa then, and we have a nice, 10 people spa at the back, and we jump in there together.
Jeez, you just wonder you got enough hours in the day to do all this.
Oh, I can't keep doing this. Go on.
Now, all right. Well, now, just I write all these things down only because I know that you have a. Well, let me just see what else. Now, listen to this, Doug. Now,
yes,
this is the way we are being played by activists and people who have got nothing better to do. Do you know they are in Los Angeles? In the predominantly gay area of Los Angeles, which has narrowed it down to about 100 square miles. Do you know, Doug, that they are now taking down the no U-turn signs? Do you know the road signs, no U-turns?
Yes, I do know them, yes.
They're taking them down because they say, wait for this, they say it is homophobic because... you're not meant to go into the gay areas because they were trying to suppress people going into the gay areas, and you couldn't do a U-turn to go back into the gay area. You had to keep going, and they're saying that was homophobic. Could you draw a long bow any longer back to include that into a reason why you'd take down signs saying no U-turns? That is fair income. All these things are easily identifiable. If you someone said, "Could you make a U-turn?" Once, and the bloke said no, but I could make its fucking eyes bulge. So that was just a throwaway line. The New Zealanders came up with that when they're talking about getting friendly with sheep. He said, "Could you make a U-turn?" He said, "No, I can make its eyes bulge though." So that's just.
Don't they wear kilts now, Sam? They come accustomed to the sound of zippers. They come accustomed to the sound of zippers.
Very, very sharp.
Anyway, but you use that one. That might be Jacko's one, I think.
No, that was mine, Doug. No,
that was yours,
that was
it?
mine. Yeah. Do you know what I think Jacko is responsible for? You know how they... Well, I think this is right. I'll ask him. When he was doing the Energizer battery ads, he said Energizer batteries, some slogan. I'll ask him about it, and he said... they'll make you feel good or something. Oi! And he said he started Aussie, oi, oi, oi. He said he was the originator of that. And he said he gave it to the, in 2000 he gave it to the Olympic Committee, and he said I think he didn't even get a ticket to go to, he reckons he gave him that slogan.
What do you make of that, Sam? It sounds pretty legit. I mean, I remember him doing it. Did you remember him doing that, Sam?
On the Energizer batteries, I did.
Yeah, I do, 100%.
Wasn't it on the song as well? Wasn't it the song, "I'm an individual, you can't beat me"? Yeah. Oi, what isn't it?
Oi, yeah, oi, yeah. I reckon he's on it, Sue. You're right, Sue. I reckon you're on the money there, Sue and Sam. Well, you'll find out, Sam, when you talk to him. And Sam, asked him, did he ever meet Frank Sinatra?
Ask him.
Ask him.
All right.
Ask him, did he meet the great Frank Sinatra?
Did he? Did you know that, do you?
Well, he actually did, and he might have a little bit of a tail to that. But anyway, asked him, it was like meeting, and you would have loved Frank, Sam, wouldn't you? Surely. You would have loved that Rat Pack and, Sammy Davis and Dean Martin and...
Peter Lawford.
Like that's the one. Peter, I couldn't get his name. Say it again, Sam.
Peter Lawford.
That's it.
He was, he married one of the Kennedys.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah. Peter Lawford, Frank Sinatra, Joey Bishop.
Sammy Davis. I don't remember. Yeah,
Joey Bishop was one of the Rat Pack.
Rat Pack?
Yeah. There's something else I was going to
say. Dino, yeah.
Dean
Martin.
Yep. I don't know whether the oi, 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 Aussie, Aussie, Aussie came from Jacko, but it actually came from an international sporting event like the Australian national teams where the vibrant was Oggie, 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 was a chant used by footballers in the rugby union fans in Scotland. And so they've changed it to, well, okay. that's what the Wikipedia says. But Wikipedia says. I think Jacko might say something else.
Well, he might have just brought it into the Australian lingo and said, "No, Oggie, Oggie, Oggie." We're going, oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, you might claim that, Sam. Sue, you might claim that, Jacko. Yeah, now, I won't dispute it. Because it sounds pretty right.
Now, at last, Doug, people are starting to realise the absolute tokenism of the welcome to country nonsense that we have to put up with before events.
Sam,
I see the NFL, not the NFL, the NRL. The NRL are debating before the State of Origin games why we should have welcome to country when we're just trying to welcome everyone in the country to getting on and not separating us or creating division. So there's a bit of a chat going on about how long we're going to put up with this nonsense about being welcome to a country we all live in, and people who do the welcoming have Australian or anglicised names. They don't even have their Aboriginal name if in fact they are Aboriginal. So it's a farce, and the whole thing is a crock of nonsense.
Sam, I have nothing against the Indigenous because I have some great mates and great friends, and just the other day I did a function. I'm not saying where, and not going to disclose it. I'm not saying that. Not the word disclose. I'm not saying that. I was asked, did I want to welcome the people to the country and into the room to hear me speak. I was asked, and I said no. I said I don't want to. It's not my responsibility. It's not my job. And I'm not big enough because I've been here for 64 years. I said to the lady, I've been here for 64 years. I don't need to be welcomed here.
She asked you that, did she?
Yeah, she did. She did.
Well, so that the very point you made.
I declined, but I got mates, and you have. You're the great Polly Farmer, the late Polly Farmer.
Yes, my hero. And so you just said...
I said,
you don't. So you said you don't have anything against the Indigenous people. I'm asking you. This is the point of this. Who does have something against Indigenous people?
No one.
Because racism is about hate. Who do we hate in this country? I can dislike plenty of white people. I can dislike the odd Indigenous person. It's got nothing to do with their race. It's the fact that the people you don't like are shitheads. It's got nothing to do with their race or so. That's why that is why no one dislikes anyone. Group of people. We're not. I think the word is xenophobic, Doug. When you hate a race of people or a country, no one is. Who does hate? Who is xenophobic or hates race? No one hates race, but you can dislike certain people from different races. But it's all bullshit, and we just put up with it. No one's going to push back, and you have to endure it. You have to endure it, and it actually circumvents the event that you're going to. You think, oh my God, it just gets people off on the wrong foot when they go there to enjoy the game. All right, Doug. Well, look, I don't know that we can speak about anything else. I tell you, someone asked me, why do we keep... Well, I've mentioned Houdini Plumbing, and because it's amazing the people you see when you're away on holiday. I saw the principal from Houdini Plumbing here in Airlie Beach. I think I saw him, and I saw him from a distance. And I only mention that because there is more people from Melbourne up here in Airlie Beach. Like when you go to Bali, there's more people from Australia in Bali. You think, oh, that's unusual. We're all that far away from where you live. But those people come here for the climate and go over to Bali for a cheap holiday. So I saw the man from Houdini Plumbing here. And I looked up what Houdini means. Do you know who Harry Houdini was?
He was he disappeared. He's disappeared and...
he's an escape artist. His name was Eric Wines. He was a Hungarian. Eric Wines, and he changed his name to Harry Houdini. And he was president of the Society of Professional Magicians. And this is maybe why Houdini Plumbing have taken on the slogan Houdini Plumbing, because they uphold the professional standards and expose fraudulent actors. Maybe that's what Houdini Plumbing call themselves that name for, because they are hold the professional standards and they expose fraudulent artists. Anyhow, I saw him from a distance.
Where are you taking this? Where are you taking this?
Well, Houdini Plumbing there.
Harry Houdini, I got a few mates that disappears better than Harry Houdini. But
well, the Houdini Plumbing people don't, because they're excellent. And
they're very good.
My mum and dad were experiencing stuff because they were having the cold showers before Houdini Plumbing went down there and fixed their hot water service. So
that's right. Houdini.
They were doing the hot and cold therapy. They didn't have hot; they only had cold. So
they're very experienced magicians. I know a bloke who was in a car with a woman, and he said he said, I'm a bit of a magician. She said, why? As he drove along, he said, I can turn into this motel here. And he did. He turned into a motel with the girl. And she said, gee, that's clever. Yeah,
with the girl.
Yeah,
with the girl.
Yeah, might have been a girl. Might have been Leah Thomas, who just got banned for being a bloke trying to swim in the Olympic swimming team. Well, Doug, it's been exciting. Anything else? Honestly, the snatches I watch of AFL. You are spot on, mate. I cannot watch it for more than 5 minutes. The umpiring is absolutely disgraceful. It is so petty and so contrived and so it is ridiculous. And they have single-handedly cruelled the game for me. Beside the game not being what it was, it is disgraceful. I don't know why anyone puts up with it. In fact, I don't put up with it. But plenty of people do, and good on them.
No, I'm with you, Sam, at the minute. Well, disarray the game now.
Hey, Dougie, you've been watching...
And the game I love, too. Hey?
It is. Have you been watching the YouTube videos of Sam on his YouTube channel? You cannot be... what is it? Original Smarter Sam.
It's original Smarter Sam on YouTube. We've had 1 million people look at it. Doug?
Yeah, I have. No, I've seen that, Sam. So you had a bit of water problem there at some of those waves.
I gave him a haircut yesterday.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she gave me a haircut because life goes on, Doug. Just because you're on holidays, your hair grows.
When are you back, Sam? When are you back, Sue? When you coming back, you guys?
Probably never.
When we can afford the fuel. What'd
that cost you? 100 grand, isn't it?
It's climbing that way, Doug, but I'm just divesting myself of assets as I speak with a view to coming home at some stage.
I'm cheap to take out, but I'm expensive to keep.
Yeah, I think the word for that's high maintenance.
And that's not me, that's you.
All right, well, now, before we end up in a fist fight here, Doug, thank you so much, mate, and you can get the signature hats from michaelchristianmenswear.com. They're flying out. They're not flying out. He's posting them out, and he does it free of charge. That's included in the $69.
$69, Sam. Hasn't got many left, has he? They're sold out. They're selling out.
Well, he keeps reordering, but they're under duress. The government over there have said if you're under 6, you're not allowed to work in a sweatshop. So they're trying to get 7-year-olds now to be on the employment list. Right.
I just want to say, Sam, Sue, stay safe, sail safe. And
what's
I'll
that, Doug?
Soon.
What did you say?
Sail safe.
Sail safe.
Sail safe and say safe.
I want you to see if you can say this, Doug, please. Irish wristwatch.
Irish wristwatch.
I saw a man wearing
I saw a man wearing an Irish wristwatch.
Wearing an Irish wristwatch. Say Irish.
Irish wristwatch.
So, will I have
a prick, Sam. You're a prick.
No,
you're a prick after that.
Have one go at doing this. I'll just give you one go.
Manure.
No. Listen to this carefully, Doug. I'm not a fig plucker. I'm a fig plucker's son, but I'll pluck figs till the fig plucker comes. Have one crack at that, Doug, please.
I'm not a fig plucker, but I pluck fig pluckers, and I know that of a fig plucker.
That's it, Doug. You're off.
A finger plucker.
fucking idiot. You imbecile.